The Longest Weekend is the 12th episode of Regular Show's 4th season. It aired on the 21st of January 2013. The episode focuses on Muscle Man trying not to call his girlfriend Starla for one weekend to test their love. But he fails to keep his promise, and the whole story drives the plot. Critics and fans think this is one of the worst episodes in the series. Many called it boring, stupid, and a waste of time. This episode was made during Regular Show's 4th season, when many fans think the show started getting worse. By this time, episodes focused on Muscle Man were becoming very unpopular. Many fans felt that Muscle Man worked better as a side character and couldn't carry a whole episode by himself. The Longest Weekend proved this point. The episode got a very low rating of 6 0.1 on IMDb, making it one of the 2 worst-rated episodes in all of Regular Show. This low score shows that both critics and fans really didn't like the episode. The episode begins with the main characters watching a cheesy romantic movie that's also called The Longest Weekend. The movie is about lovers who think their love is too strong for them to be together. The movie shows a couple deciding to spend a weekend apart to test their love. When they finally kiss after being apart, they explode. The guys, Mordecai, Rigby, and Muscle Man, think the movie is terrible and boring. Rigby says, "This movie sucks. I thought it was going to be about a party." Mordecai calls it a waste of money and longest waste of time. Even Margaret says it was pretty bad. But Starla loves the movie. She says, "I thought it was a beautiful movie. It really spoke to me." This difference sets up the main problem. After the movie, Starla starts thinking about her relationship with Muscle Man. She thinks they're too close and need space for their love to grow. She decides they should spend a weekend apart to test their love. Muscle Man doesn't want to do this. He says, "But babe, we had plans to hang out all weekend." But Starla insists and makes it worse by saying if he calls her during the weekend, she will break up with him. She tells him to meet her at the clock tower on Sunday at midnight, and not a moment before. This setup has lots of problems. The challenge is based on a bad movie that everyone except Starla knew was dumb. The rules don't make sense and have nothing to do with real relationships. Starla's threat to break up is unfair to Muscle Man. Normal couples want to spend time together, not avoid each other. At first, Muscle Man acts confident. He tells his friends it will be easy and says, "I'll be fine." When it comes to ladies, sometimes you just gotta play the game. He even takes off his shirt and celebrates. But as soon as Muscle Man gets home to his trailer, he starts having problems. He tries to watch TV to distract himself, but sees a show about monster trucks that remind him of Starla. He almost calls her, but remembers the rules. Then Muscle Man starts going crazy. He tries to read a magazine, but the woman on the cover looks like Starla to him. He tries to eat, but he sees Starla's face in his soup and chicken nuggets. Everything in his trailer starts looking like Starla, asking him why he hasn't called. This makes Muscle Man so scared that he runs out of his house. He finds Mordecai, Rigby, and High Five Ghost hanging out and asks for help. He says, "This Starla thing is freaking me out. I see her everywhere. If I don't get some help, I'm gonna call her and she's gonna dump me." His friends agree to help by watching him and taking away anything he could use to call Starla. They destroy his phone and block his computer access. Meanwhile, Starla is also having doubts. At a coffee shop with Margaret and Eileen, she wonders why Muscle Man hasn't called. When Margaret reminds her that she said she would break up with him if he called, Starla says, "Well, I didn't mean it. He should know the difference between me meaning things and me not meaning things." This shows how unfair Starla is being. She made a threat with serious consequences but expected Muscle Man to somehow know she didn't really mean it. Margaret points out, "There's no way he can guess what you're thinking all the time. That's impossible." But Starla still won't give up on her dumb test. The ending. As the weekend goes on, both Muscle Man and Starla get more and more miserable, but they're too proud to quit the challenge. the whole thing becomes stupid because both characters are suffering for no good reason. When Sunday midnight finally arrives, both characters race to the clock tower. They're so desperate to see each other that they literally turn into fireballs and crash into each other, causing an explosion. After the explosion, they're both fine. Muscle Man says the whole thing was worth it, even though nothing good came from it. The episode ends with them making out in front of everyone, which is so gross that Mordecai and Margaret decide to never invite them to movies again. The ending doesn't show that their relationship got better or that they learned anything. Everything just went back to exactly how it was before, making the whole episode feel pointless. The Longest Weekend got terrible reviews from both critics and fans. The 6.7 rating on IMDb made it one of the worst episodes ever. Fans were really angry about this episode. On fan websites, people consistently said it was one of the worst episodes ever made. One fan wrote, "The Longest Weekend. I know this ep just recently came out, but wow, just wow. Out of all the Muscle Man episodes we got, this was one of the worst. The plot was really stupid. I've never seen a promise so broken. And the fact that this was another Muscle Man themed episode got me really tired of Muscle Man." Another fan said, "I think the purpose of this episode is completely dumb and a waste of time. This episode also makes me hate Starla even more. And it's cool to put love to the test, but not when you're going to be a total hypocrite about it." Many fans also said this episode made them tired of Muscle Man episodes in general. I have to say that many of the episodes that heavily focus on Muscle Man are hard to watch. Critics also didn't like it. One review said, "This story about love felt like forever," and complained that the laughs were few and far between this week, and as a result, it felt like the longest episode. The episode has several big problems. Dumb rules. Staying apart for a weekend has nothing to do with whether a relationship is good. Good couples usually want to spend time together. Unfair punishment. Starla's threat to break up if Muscle Man calls her is way too harsh for such a small test. Lying. Starla admits she didn't really mean her threat, but expects Muscle Man to read her mind and know this. Bad communication. The whole problem could be solved if they just talked honestly to each other. Bad example. The episode shows unhealthy relationship behavior as if it's funny instead of pointing out that it's wrong. The Longest Weekend made fans even more unhappy with regular show's 4th season. The episode became an example that fans often brought up when talking about the show's worst moments. The bad reaction might have changed future episodes, because later seasons had fewer Muscle Man-focused stories. But by this point, damage to the show's reputation was already done. The episode also showed bigger problems with how regular show was handling romantic relationships during this time. The show used to handle romance well, but episodes like this suggested the writers were struggling to come up with good relationship stories. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown.